to the greatest puzzle talk show. I'm your host, Mike. New Mike. Old Mike, still dead. Haven't heard from him recently. Hopefully he doesn't come back for revenge. But welcome to the Monday show. I'm a little bit laggy, so this is a good time to segue over to introducing my co-host, Tone. What's up, Tone? How you been?
I'm good, and I don't think old Mike is coming back. Last I heard, he disappeared in the Crisis.
Disappeared in the Crisis? Crisis on Infinite Trapdoors?
Crisis on Infinite Trapdoors?
There's
way
too many trapdoors. We're falling through all of them. How's everyone doing? How's your Monday? Let us know in the comments. Let's get a conversation going. Love to hear from you guys. Tone, how's your day been so far?
My day has been exceptional. Woke up this morning and got Liv ready for school. Had some pancakes. Had morning coffee. Brought Liv to school. Went back home. Took a jacuzzi.
Ooh. You took a jacuzzi. Where'd you take it to?
I hate you. I hate you. That's all I got. Had a little adult time, and came to work.
Morning sounds much more productive than I did. I woke up, I had a coffee, I came straight here, and I prepped this amazing Monday show that I'm super excited to present to y'all. I'm working out some new dance moves. I don't know if you noticed. I thought they were pretty good.
No.
There's nothing in the cup. I just needed to pass time. So, we got a great list of topics. I got it right the first time. For us today, starting with some escape rooms in a box, Bluetooth speakers, how to prep and able designs. Tone, that confused face means you have no clue what's about to come, and that's just the way we like it. Why don't we go ahead and stroll on over into our first topic of the day, escape room in a box, flashback. First of all, I like the design on that box. Very 80s, very retro, very neon-y.
I know the creators of these games. I have the first one, which was Werewolf Experiment.
That's this one.
I thought it was called Flashback.
It is called Flashback, but still, Flashback in a box, produced by Wild Optimist. The story goes, Dr. Cynthia Naw has turned herself... Naw, I just got that. Because werewolf. Okay. Dr. Cynthia Naw has turned herself into a werewolf and is on her way to eat you. The good news is you've got 90 minutes to follow Dr. Lisa David's instructions to build a... Dr. Lisa David, huh? That's pretty funny. Instructions to build a de-werewolfification amulet.
Okay, so then why did they reskin this? I'm confused. I thought this was a brand new game, maybe.
In the article, it appears to be a brand new game. It said that it was released not too long ago. You have kind of the preview of the puzzles up here in the top right corner. I got it right the first time before, and I cursed myself. I did, because I don't understand this thing. I'm not very good at inverted controls. But I guess they're reskinning the werewolf story. I guess it might have been a popular seller, and they're bringing it back. That's why they call it Flashback. I'm off to a good start today. I don't really understand a lot of these escape rooms in a boxes. Understand in the sense of you spend the money to get the box sent to your house or whatever, and then what do you play it once, or do these games usually have a sort of a replayability?
No, this is a one-timer.
This is a one-timer. We gotta play one of these games on the stream one day. How would you guys feel?
On the stream?
On stream one day.
I feel like they'd be a little upset about that.
Well, the people in the
that made the game.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I don't want to give away answers. What if we played the game but didn't give away answers? Have little previews. Let's review the game. I've never played one of these. I want to know. I want to know if they're actually fun. If we could set up the office here to be an escape office.
You know what? If you guys are watching that design the game, reach out and maybe we can do a little modification to make it a streaming game. Kind of in the way that we did the events catalog.
Because that's basically what we did here, where it's, we have the top-down view of the boxes, and we got the top-down view of the boxes, and then from there, we interact with the customer. That, guys. We're having some interesting happenings today with the webcams, but don't worry,
not live yet.
We will not let that interfere with our stream today, because we're quick to the fix. But yeah, with our Trapdoor events live streams, it's kind of like we have the camera angled top-down view of the box. You get to see like still shots of the clues and stuff like that. Interact whoever the game master is at the time, so that they can get through all the boxes. It'd be cool to see like a subscription service kind of go through something similar to that. Where they send us a box and we just like turn it into a live stream experience.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. It used to be 1 hour, is one of the comments on the chat on Facebook. So what? It's a 2-hour version now?
90 minutes.
Oh, it's 90 minutes. Oh, so there's another half hour of extended gameplay.
Oh, it's like DLC.
Yeah, except it's not being packaged as a DLC. It's being packaged as a completely new game.
I wonder if maybe they kind of what they did was like put newer puzzles in there. So obviously maybe like it's not the same experience, but kind of this follows the same story.
Know.
Kind of in the way that we did Cure Z in Red Bank and then we did Cure Z in the Poconos.
Yeah, but we still called it Cure Z. So like if you played it already, you at least knew some of it might repeat. Which, by the way, everybody that's watching, because I think we lost a little bit. I think we lost a little bit of content in between there where the cameras went out. For some reason today, we've been experiencing some like very quick little snap short outs. So if it happens, just stay with us for 5 seconds as we replug everything in and it turns back on like it did prior. So we know about it. We just can't figure out why it's happening.
We don't control all the technology. Sometimes technology is above us, but we have our masterful repair team. It's me, I'm the masterful repair team, on standby, ready to unplug and plug in anything that needs to be unplugged and then re-plugged in. So,
he would make an amazing service department tech geek.
I so would. Did
you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
You know what I've gotten a lot is that people tell me that I should do radio. So like the way I deliver like sentences or stuff like that, at least when I know what I'm talking about.
The way I deliver sentences, the radio shows would all be like people would think that they were viewing it at 3-point speed over norm. You
What?
like literally.
I only do that sometimes, and that's only when I'm practicing my Busta Rhymes impression.
Oh God.
But Wild Optimists, if you're watching this, we'd love to collab with Dr. Cynthia Naw, see if we can maybe add a little bit to this Werewolf's amulet. Reach out to us. You have our number. I know you do. It's on our website. And with that, we're going to go ahead and roll on over into our next topic, which is Bluetooth speakers. For this topic...
Brand new technology.
100% brand new. I think this shit came out like last week.
Okay, what are we talking about
For this topic, we've taken a deep dive into our social media homes of owners and enthusiasts alike to find out what the topic of conversation for the week is. A lot of times, business owners will ask other business owners for their for advice on their escape rooms, and we're here to answer those questions. At least I have managed to procure a business owner into answering these questions. This week's question comes to us from a Reddit user, r/escape rooms. Is the subreddit that I got this from, and the question is Bluetooth speakers. How reliable are they in an escape room for when you want to have sound or ambiance? I think he's trying to...
Completely unreliable.
I would love to hear more about this, because I believe the setup is that he's going to have them. They're going to be like 15 feet away from like the Game Master station. Tell us more about your experience with Bluetooth speakers.
All of a sudden, your track that you're trying to overlay through your game is going to be replaced by Lady Gaga.
Are you talking from experience?
Yes.
See, that was
Someone's just gonna go right on their phone. They're gonna see that there's Bluetooth connections available, and somebody's going to click it.
Can't you like set up a password for like the Bluetooth thing or anything?
Not
like
for many of the speakers, no.
I think that would be my biggest fear with the Bluetooth speaker, is that someone else would connect to it, or just that it would the walls, or it'd be too far away, or be too thick to really like connect to whatever you're trying to convey. It might come out spotty.
Well, no, I mean Bluetooth connections are very strong. I mean, like for example, I use a Bluetooth connect in my car, and that thing will pick up all the way over here in the office. So it's very it's very long distance. The distance of it is not really the big concern here. It's simply the element that your speakers are going to get abducted. Whenever we put speakers in our games now, we are very, very careful to only select a brand of speakers, which we have in all of our games now universally. One, because they're exceptionally high quality, and then the other is the element that they're augs in, and that's the Marshall brand.
You know, actually, as a musician, I use a lot of Marshall amps for like guitars and stuff, and I can testify that they are the best amps to use. We're not sponsored.
No, we're
I
not.
happily will be, but
yeah, Marshall, please send us, because we probably kill $2,000 a year in your speakers. But we have in Cure Z, there is 2 Marshall speakers. When we revamped, or I shouldn't say revamped, but when we renovated Witch Hunt, we installed a Marshall speaker. There is none in Boogeyman.
What kind of speakers do we use in Boogeyman?
The stuff we were using before we discovered Marshall.
Okay,
Hence why Witch Hunt didn't have a Marshall until we just renovated it. And Freak Show has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went, and it's crazy that you mentioned that Cure Z has only 2 of the speakers, because Cure Z being it's kind of a testament to how powerful these speakers are.
Yeah.
Because with a game that's over 3,000 square feet, and we have soundtracks and clues playing out of just those 2 speakers,
it carries through the whole building.
They hear it incredibly clearly as far as the soundtrack and stuff like that.
Well, we even just saw we had a Sony speaker in Witch Hunt in the center of the game, so that it would radiate sound throughout the whole thing. We took that out, and we put the Marshall in, basically in the same place.
I'm on it. The repair team is on it. It's alright, you guys can look at my face while I go ahead and get Tone back on the air. This is just one of the many trials that we deal with for your entertainment. Tone, you were saying?
The one speaker is so much better quality that just even the words that you're listening for are so much better articulated because you're hearing them at proper quality now. Those speakers are phenomenal. They're very loud. With Freak Show, it sounds like there's an entire performance coming from behind the stage. They're really phenomenal, and they're augs in. You have to actually press a completely separated button to go to Bluetooth. They have the conversion ability, but if it's not turned on, it's not accessible. And that's what you need if you're using a speaker for the escape room, unless you're going to direct wire speakers, which we've done that as well. We have directly wired speakers for hints.
And you know what the great thing about those, I think the hints at Cure Z, they play over the Marshall speakers as well, correct?
No.
No, the hints don't actually play? Because I was going to say, a testament to, as well as, how clear they are. I've never had a complaint, because I know of a lot of other companies that have started to do the pre-recorded hints that play over the speakers.
Yeah, everybody copies us eventually.
Yeah, but the problem is with the other escape rooms, when they play the hints, it sounds like this, and it's like you're on the train station in New York heading to our stuff. I've never had a complaint that any of our hints are, muffled or anything like that.
Witch Hunt was the only one we did, and that is changed now. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Boogeyman also suffers a little bit from that, but Witch Hunt had one centralized speaker. Boogeyman has 6 speakers. So, you have sounds from the beyond coming from all different places in Boogeyman. So odds are you're always closer to a sound source in Boogeyman than you ever were in Witch Hunt. But what we end up still doing is, even with those individual speakers that we use for the hints, there's an amp that all those speakers are wired into.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise you just have no control over the quality of the sound coming out, or the volume, or anything else. It would just be like, "This is your hint!"
And it's great that we actually have that kind of quality control, because imagine trying to replay the same hint over and over again, and they're just like, "I don't know what you're saying."
We still hear that. At the end of the day, it's funny. We go into these games and we test out every square foot. We literally will walk, play it again, play it again, play it again. We do a constant thing when we're setting up the sound of every 3 steps, someone upstairs plays the hint again. And we're making sure that we can hear everything properly everywhere. So when a group comes in and they're like, "We can't hear it in that room," that's because you're all screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's an element of the story. Like Witch Hunt has that problem. All the hints are from the ghost of the dead servant girl. Boogeyman has that problem. It's all the, I don't want to say spirits of the children, because they're not dead yet, but it's like them communicating from
whatever paranormal
the boogeyman's
beyond.
dimension.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as a result, people hear it, and they get scared, and they start screaming over it.
So they don't exactly hear what's being said.
Yeah, so, like, that's not our fault.
Calm down a little bit. Why are you scared?
Bring it down a notch.
But to answer your question, Reddit user whose name I don't have on me, Bluetooth speakers are not the way to go. I mean, if you want to run the risk, run the risk.
No, don't do it.
But
don't do it.
Get yourself some plug-in speakers and ensure that your hints will be heard clearly, because nothing is worse than...
It's a little unfortunate because a good speaker, like a Marshall, is double the price. But instead of spending, $70, you're going to spend $150 to $200. You're probably going to spend $200.
But to be fair, you are paying for that
per
quality.
speaker.
Yeah.
But we've now had these Marshall speakers running for a couple years, and their audio quality hasn't lacked or dipped or anything. We even use them when we go off-site. We have one Marshall speaker that we Bluetooth our microphone into, and the whole entire room is blown out by that speaker.
Same thing with the Raven Guild. All it took was one Marshall speaker, and the entirety of the Raven room was filled with the soundtrack, which, again, shout out to Mike DiLorenzo. That soundtrack is still fire. I listen to it sometimes.
For what, Raven Guild?
Yeah.
That wasn't Mike. That was our composer.
Oh, that was our composer? Sorry, Mike. I gave you wrongfully gave you props.
Yeah, no. That Raven Guild is like Freak Show, a 100% original score. And that's what we're doing going forward. Everything is a 100% original piece of music, created and designed specifically between myself and our composer team. We have about 3 people now at this point that we collaborate with to create these original music pieces.
Well, shout out to those composers, because that intro soundtrack for Raven Guild still slaps. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this live stream so far, make sure you give us a like. We really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you hit that bell. That way you know when we're going live. And with that, we're going to go ahead and barrel on to our next topic, which I think you'll enjoy here, Tone. How to prep.
For what? Doomsday?
Shit, I thought you knew. This next topic comes to us from an article I found.
Okay.
On one of our Google notifications of how to prep for an escape room, how to sit down and really prepare. Next, we did a video.
We've seen so many articles, and we've even covered like little bits of this before.
A little bit, yes. We covered a video that outlined 10 steps to beat every escape room.
Right.
And that video, a year later now, has like millions and millions of views. It blew up. Yeah, no, so like everyone's using that to like try to solve escape rooms now. But I thought maybe
it blew up.
It blew the hell up, because now the escape room boom, and everyone's like, how do I beat this thing? And this guy's like, I got you guys, come on in. But what I have here, I've written down, it's only 4 steps from the article of how to prep for an escape room. I thought it'd be fun if we talked about a few of these steps and
Sure,
see.
let's hit it.
Yeah. So step 1, assemble a team. Yes, this is the direction this article went. It's 100% the direction. That's why I love these articles. They're the best, because you get to step 1 and it's just like, well, no shit. So, what do you think about this first step, Tony? Do you think it's a solid first step? Should you assemble a team, or should you raw dog an escape room all by yourself?
All right, so let's speak a little bit more to what they're actually trying to portray here. They're not saying first step, find players.
Avengers assemble.
Yeah, they're almost more akin to that. They're saying you need to select a team that's going to be able to actually do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to assemble the Avengers. You're not, you're not just putting together a team of random Joe Schmoes or Jane Schmoes, but you're really assembling the Justice League of escape room players out of your list of contacts. So if you're playing a win, you're going to be a little more particular about who you take on this adventure, because some people are going to be dead weight. And, like, for example, if I'm assembling an escape room team, I know that Parada is going to knock into every single thing within the room and probably damage something, see? Because He's a total spaz. But
I'll have you know, hang on, no, I'm going to interject there. I'll have you know that I beat F5 with like 3 other idiots with like 27 minutes left on the clock, and we only used 1 hint, alright?
F5 was also our easiest game built for kids. But anyway, F5 really was an easy game.
You can't see it, but I'm walking out.
But, I'm not going to bring our head of online experience, Connor, because Connor is crazily OCD, which is great for his position here at Trapdoor, but it means that he's going to grasp onto one puzzle, and if he doesn't figure it out, he is not going to let go. He's going to be a dog with a bone, and he's going to kill 50 minutes on one puzzle. Frank used to do that too.
Oh god, I've seen so much of it happen here in Cure Z too.
Frank would sit there and just not let go of a train of thought. And it'd be like, dude, it's been 5 minutes, you didn't get it, let's move on to something else, we'll come back with fresh eyes. No, gotta focus on this. It's like, okay, we're not going to get anywhere like this. You've got to, that's what assemble a team means. It's really more about selecting who's going to play what role. And not everyone should have the same attributes either. Just like when we build our teams here at Trapdoor as a company, you want to have people in there that make up for what you lack.
Yes.
So, cover all bases. You need somebody who's great with pattern recognition. You need somebody maybe who's good with mathematics, because annoyingly there's always puzzles that involve mathematics in a lot of escape rooms. We use them too from time to time if it fits the story.
Only from time to time.
You're going to want somebody who's just incredibly good street smart logic. I always go back to the one trick that a former member of our team, John, used to, not used to always, but he had, said when we were playing a game at a competitor's place one time, he solves this one puzzle. We're like, John, how the hell did you solve that? And he goes, they had a camera aimed right on the spot. It had to be important. And it was like, the logic was incredibly on point, though. Like, how could you argue that? As someone who has built games, you know that we put cameras where we need to see important things.
Especially in our bigger games as well.
I mean, you never know if something's going to malfunction and not trigger automatically the way it's programmed. So you need to be able to see it to hit the backup button. For whatever reason, you need to make sure that important things do what they're supposed to do. So odds are you have a camera trained on that position. So he noticed that there was a camera like dead on aimed at this one table where he was working, so it had to be an important puzzle.
From Viva Todd Vegas, I'm going to go ahead and get my beautiful face back on here. What's up, Todd? Good to see you. I didn't get to talk to you last week. Oh, he's got his own steps for how to prepare for an escape room. He's sending them in right now.
All right, well, let's continue onward with the list of who we're covering, and then we'll go to Todd's.
I like
and if
his
anyone
already.
else has a list, throw it on either the Facebook chat or the YouTube chat, and we would love to get to it.
Oh yeah, because I want to know what the process is for everybody. Because I know it's good at the end of the day. It's different for everyone.
I am very anxious to hear tips and tricks from everyone today, so let's do it.
So step 2, choose your first room.
All right, now go screw yourself. I defended you on step 1. Now we're done.
Well, here, let me go ahead and explain their logic. The logic of the article that I found. There are several different themes for rooms.
Connor goes, push, you've never seen me play an escape room.
Connor, have you ever actually played an escape room?
No, Connor has played games before. But Connor, I've worked with you. I absolutely love Connor to death, but he 100% is a dog with a bone mentality. He gets locked onto things. And, I would almost say it's a mix of ODD and ADD.
ODD?
OCD and ADD. But I call Connor's version ADA. He has an attention deficit advantage.
Oh, because he's so, locked on to everything, it gives him an advantage.
And but and then there's the element of he kind of needs focus breaks, which works to the Morristown location's advantage, because then he labels the faucets in the bathroom so that everyone knows which one's hot and cold. No, you joke, but this is actually important in Morristown because the plumbing is really weird, and they're on the reverse side, so everyone always turns on the hot, the side that should be hot, and they wait and they wait and they wait, but they're actually on cold, and Connor took initiative and labeled them, so now you know.
I feel like that's more Connor giving away more hints. Come on, man, we're in an escape room. They gotta figure it out themselves.
No, but there's a difference between what works in a work environment and what works when you're playing an escape room.
Oh yeah, for sure. So actually, elaborating more on step 2, which is Blomicus. Elaborating more on step 2, which is choose your first room. There are a lot of different sub-genres, I guess, of escape room, where you have fantasy, you have adventure, and then you have the ever-growing popular horror escape room. This article says that for your first escape room, you should steer clear of a scary escape room because fear kind of negates the ability to think clearly. And I would like to hear your topic on that, considering we have a very scary escape room up in Red Bank.
Yeah, we have been reviewed as the scariest escape room ever created with Boogeyman. Now, I personally would say that that title, although honored to have been called it by one or two different prestigious review sites, there are other locations and other companies that I've heard are terrifying. Like, for example, if anyone's heard of it, Lilith is okay. Well, it was a game that came out a little while back that apparently was absolutely terrifying. And I love the story because it was made by like a dad and his daughter, I believe. And the dad plays like almost this like Leatherface-esque serial killer in the house who killed the little girl.
Oh, shit.
And his daughter plays the ghost of the little girl.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, as as everyone's favorite dad, shout out to Samantha and I don't know how Mike DiLorenzo would feel about me saying everyone's favorite mom, but for anyone who doesn't spend a lot of time at Trapdoor, I am dad and Mike DiLorenzo is mom at Trapdoor.
And when mom and dad fight, we all hide.
And Chris Schwartz is Uncle Chris.
Uncle Chris, can we go out for lunch?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the girls. 100% go after Uncle Chris with that one. Uncle Chris, can we have lobster mac and cheese today? And Uncle Chris delivers every time.
I think the first day I met Chris, he's like, "Hey man, you hungry? I'm ordering some Chef Freddy's."
Yeah, and anyone who doesn't know, Chef Freddy's in Morristown is like $200 a plate.
Jesus.
But good octopus salad though. But anyway, I would, as a dad, I would love to, build a game around me and Liv. I think that would be really fun and cool, down the road, a few years down the road. But,
how do you feel about the avoiding a scary escape room as your first escape room?
Thanks for pulling us back on target. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's kind of known at this point that when people play a horror game, if they're susceptible to fear, then they're probably going to be a doorstop.
Yeah, because in our game Boogeyman, we are not afraid to kind of go above and beyond. I mean, obviously, we're not putting anyone in harm's way, but we'll drag you out from under a bed.
Definitely not to derail topics, but especially as Boogeyman is coming into its final season. Here's a topic I would love to do next week. It versus Boogeyman.
It versus Boogeyman.
I just watched It Chapter 2.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
And I saw Chapter 1 and there were parallels, but after seeing Chapter 2, I was like, oh my god, Boogeyman and It are almost the same story.
I'm absolutely down to talk more about that. I'm going to do
so yeah, I would love to do like a compare and contrast segment on Boogeyman and It Chapter 1, Chapter 2.
Yeah, because it kind of has the same premise where they're stealing kids, or they're haunting
There's
kids
a
throughout
lot
their life.
more in comparison than that.
I have to look up more of the
from
the
needing the totems of the children in order to defeat Pennywise. A lot of comparisons are there.
I didn't even think about like the totems because that's a big deal in Boogeyman without giving away any spoilers. But with that, let's go ahead and look at step 3. So step 3, and this is probably the one that I agree with the most. Listen to the backstory. We encounter. I'm back. Hey, what's up? It's me. I'm beautiful.
Mike is back.
I'm beautiful, and I know you guys just wanted to see me. And while I work on tone, I'm going to go ahead and tell you more about why this is important. We see this.
Click yourself live, though.
I do need to click myself live. I keep forgetting that's a thing. Very important thing, especially in Cure Z, is that before your game starts, after your rules and stuff, you get your mission briefing. Someone will come onto the TV and kind of set the general overall tone for the story.
Right.
And as soon
overall tone.
Yeah, I thought of it. It was after I thought of it. He's pointing at it's the overall tone, the overtone, because it's overtone.
Ha ha ha!
You like what I did to your joke?
Yeah.
It's what everyone does to mine. So it's as soon as they finish the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 after the rule segment, all listening to videos and stories kind of goes out the window, and people are diving immediately into looking around the room, scavenging for what they can find.
Well, the interesting part of that, though, is that almost showcases demographic shifts. Because back even 2 years ago, everyone used to actually pay attention. Everyone used to watch the briefing videos in full and listen intently, because they were there for the whole experience. They wanted the full story. And now you have groups that are coming in with almost like theme park ride mentality and just diving in.
Yeah, they don't even want to wait for because there's a bunch of stuff that happens in like these intro videos. I'm not going to say that it happens always in our intro videos specifically, but for a lot of other games, there are things that happen within these intro videos that are a precursor to something you might need later on in the game.
Yep.
Sometimes there's a hint in there, and then other times it's just kind of like you're going through this game, and I hear this a lot. People just kind of look up and it's like, hey, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Like, what's the deal? And it's just like, well, if you had listened to the story beforehand, you'd have more of an idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for that scenario. We experimented with something in Freak Show, and the jury's still out on whether or not it worked. But instead of opening the show with a full-scale briefing, we give you about 10% of the mission in the opening of the game.
Mm.
And then halfway through, one of the puzzles you solve kind of gives you the conflict of what exactly happened. And then a few puzzles later, when you save the bearded lady, after her performance, she then tells you what you need to do. So you don't really know what you need to do until 3/4 into the Freak Show experience.
If you ask me, I think that's actually a solid way to go about it, because kind of like with the attention, like the demographic shift and the lack of an attention span, I feel like when they're into the game, they're just getting started.
Especially with a 2-hour experience, there's that element of, can you deliver it at the beginning and expect them to carry it for 2 hours? Like in Cure Z, how many of them lose track of what they're doing?
That's
versus
right.
With Freak Show, we're giving them a little snippet, a little more, and then boom, we're driving it home at the end.
Something to keep a note of for our future games.
So at that point, you've got like a half hour left in the game to retain the knowledge of what are you doing, what is the main objective. And I can't tell you how many times people still lose track of the objective within that half hour.
Well, I mean, to be fair to the players, Freak Show as a game as well as Cure Z, I think the size of those games gets to be pretty intimidating. They get lost in everything going on around them, which is, you could say, just another challenge of an escape room in general. But still, those games have so much going on that I can imagine it can be hard to stay focused.
And the harder part too is that you can't, unlike a ride, like for example, Galaxy's Edge, or Rise of the Resistance at the Star Wars land, you can't literally lock someone into a cinematic moment in an escape room. Like the best example being the bearded lady. You find the bearded lady who's locked up in a cage in the fairgrounds. You sing her headline song back to her to awaken her from the state of slumber she's in. and she belts out the song, and then because now she's, reignited, she tells you exactly what she needs you to do in order to save Zunder's freak show. And a lot of times people leave right after she finishes the song.
Like with no thought process at all, like, what do you think of what she was talking about? Or maybe that song was important.
Yeah, she'll finish the song and she'll be like, thank you, you've saved me, blah, 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 blah. And people are walking away with the thank you, you saved me call to action moment. It's like you just sat through 2 minutes of her song, but you're leaving for the important part?
Sad. Just to kind of keep us going along here, so that we don't run out of time. Very important step was to listen to the backstory. I'm glad I got the tone and seal of approval on that one. And that will take us on to our last step of the how to prep for an escape room. The last step is arguably the most important step. This is the step that defines whether or not you win or lose an escape room.
I have a feeling this is going to be a joke.
Step 4. Enjoy the game. That is, I wish I was joking. That's actually like step 4, enjoy the game. And I get it, because if you go in there with a bad attitude, you're going to have a bad time. But
Moving on to Viva Todd Vegas.
Moving on to Viva Todd Vegas, who came in with his own steps for how to prep for an escape room. Step 1 from Viva Todd Vegas. Actually read the website of the place you're visiting.
Yes. No, that's valid. A lot of people, we've talked about this before. My absolute favorite is the customer that books and then they get there and they're like, so what are we doing? Oh, voicemail message.
Voicemail message.
Yeah, like what are we doing here today? It's like, well, you just spent $800 to privatize Freak Show.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know you're here for Freak Show.
They have no clue.
No clue at all. What do you do with that? What do you even do with that? So yes, 100%, Todd, read the website of which you're booking.
Some websites are really intricate too, and my
Oh!
My camera died again! But it's okay, I'm back. Look at me, I'm so cute.
I have a feeling this is a RAM issue and not the stream.
I really hope so. Or rather, I don't hope so. I don't know anything about computers. I just work here.
Yeah, I know what to check on for this after the show.
But the second step from Viva Todd Vegas on how to prep an
It's MLK Day. We're popular. Moving on.
And now, onto the mystery of the haunted answering machine. But step 2 from Viva Todd Vegas, stay sober.
I'm laggy.
You're a little bit laggy.
Yes and no, and I don't want to throw myself into a brick wall with this, but here's why I say yes and no. You really, in no way, shape, or form do you want to show up to an escape room drunk, but a glass of wine or a shot before heading in is not the end of the world because it makes people loosen up a little.
Kind of gets them more comfortable with the idea of being in an escape room.
Killing like 1 or 2 inhibitive qualities of yourself is not exactly a bad thing in these situations. So, depending upon your tolerance, a glass of wine, in my case, a martini, and with a jalapeno olive, or maybe just like 1 shot of tequila, and then head in. It just loosens you up just enough to have some fun.
And that's our slogan here at Trapdoor Escape Room. Do it with fun. Because if you're not doing it with fun, then what are you doing? Honestly. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and steamroll into our last topic before getting into a few quick announcements. Thank you very much, Viva Todd Vegas, for the contributions to the chat room today. But now we're going to talk about some abled designs. Now, this topic was inspired by an article that I read on whether or not you should play an escape room while pregnant.
Why
and
not?
It kind of got me thinking, like, well, sure, maybe there are some escape rooms out there where you can play while you're pregnant, but what's per se preventing someone, like, this got me thinking about, like, can a disabled person play an escape room? If you're in a wheelchair, can you play an escape room? If you have crutches? So,
This is very dependent upon the escape room, but yes.
That was going to be my question, though, is that should escape rooms, when they're being, like, designed conceptually from the beginning when it comes to, like, making the puzzles and, like, designing the blueprints and all this other fun stuff that comes with making an escape room, should disabled people be kept in mind when designing it?
Yes. I had a conversation with somebody on the phone recently about this, in the factor of you can only design so much for certain situations. There's a reason why, for example, theme park rides have a no one above or no one below X height. Things of that nature. There's only so much you can safety precaution for. Having said that, should a 9-month pregnant person play an escape room? Probably not. My wife did. We played the officially licensed Resident Evil game when she was past due.
You had some opinions about that Resident Evil game too.
Yeah, we hated it, but not the smartest move in our playing career. But up to like 6-7 months, there's really no harm in it. I would say if it involves crawling, crawl on your back. I've seen a million gazillion people do it. So I've seen 6-month pregnant women play Boogeyman. They played it fine.
They played it fine? No one got scared into labor?
They played it fine. F5 was a little more questionable.
Well, F5 is our obstacle course one, or was our obstacle course one, so...
Yeah, that one's a little harder, which, from what I hear, F5 will be returning in 2021.
What's that? This just in? F5 to return in 2021. Also, this just in from Viva Todd Vegas. We're going to just pedal back real quick into our previous topic. He's got a third step.
And it is?
Do not have unrealistic expectations from watching web shows featuring single-use escape rooms where they destroy the sets, walls, floor, etc. during the game. We had a customer who was really upset that he didn't get to rip the walls open looking for clues.
Well, yeah, there used to be a show on TV. It only went one season, but it was called Race to Escape. And it was like every episode was how to destroy an escape room if you're a player.
Oh my god.
They literally had puzzles where it was like there was this one classroom puzzle where you had to rip open all the stuffed animals in the little kid's classroom. And immediately, like while watching that, I was like, they're going to rip all the stuffed animals up in Boogeyman.
Imagine.
Oh. Yeah.
Imagine our fucking invoice or whatever we call it, our bank statement that shows like, hey, you spent like over $1,000 in stuffed animals this month. What's up with that?
Yeah, there was one where it was like a music school set type of thing, and you had to actually like bash the drum, like the fabric in the front open and rip it open to get to something inside it. It was like, this is literally teaching people to just destroy things.
One of the many things right now kind of tarnishing the escape room image.
Yeah, there's a difference between an escape room and a rage room. People need to start looking at escape rooms more like high-end immersive theater and theme parks where you're not supposed to, like, manipulate and break everything in your path. You're supposed to treat it with the respect of, this is an engineered object. It's not impenetrable. Anyway.
Have respect for the sets, and also keep in mind that disabled people might be coming to play your game, except for F5, which might be making its return in 2020.
That's all you get, 2021.
2021.
It's the only info you get right now.
It's the only info you get, and with that, we are close to the end of our episode today, so we're going to go ahead and make a couple of quick announcements, new updates to Trapdoor. First things first, renovations complete for Witch Hunt 2.0! What is it, like... You guys finished it in like what, 2 or 3 days? Not even. You
2.5.
What kind of things do we get to look forward to the new Witch Hunt renovations?
Well, the storyline and the content is the same game. So don't rebook expecting like all new puzzles or anything like that. But what we did was we corrected some complaints. Even Witch Hunt is not immune to complaints.
Oh, of course.
And ultimately, what it ended up coming down to is we were looking at our numbers after 19 ended, and we were like, this game's gonna make $1 million this year for 2020, and we were like, it's gonna literally be our first $1 million theme, and we haven't sunk any more money into it since it opened.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of been like kind of left the way that it was, which was good for a little bit because it still added to that whole like 1600s house thing.
Yeah.
However, there were some things that still needed to be touched up, obviously.
So, along the 3 years that Witch Hunt has been running, we had been doing touch-ups along the way. So, like, if someone chipped paint off the wall or scuffed this or scuffed that, we would always go in and we would always do the touch-up. Someone has a couple questions about doing an escape room today.
I can't wait to answer those questions.
But we would do those little touch-ups. But the thing is that over time, the quality of the paint in the touch-up cans is now a different color from oxidation than the paint on the walls, which has not only had oxidation, but has also had accumulated dust. You could only clean so much.
So many hands
and bodies scraping along and everything. So fade is a big issue. So what we wound up doing was literally top to bottom, we recoated everything. Every single room in Witch Hunt has been repainted. The floors have been re-epoxied. And then we dove into the biggest thing, the only main thing we have ever truly heard complaints about in Witch Hunt. There's two. One was audio, that you couldn't always make out the sound of the servant girl from beyond the grave.
And we fixed that obviously with the speakers.
We changed out the speaker system, so now it's much more articulated, crystal clear, and you could hear that girl's voice from every inch of that room without a hitch. Two was lighting.
You can see from the pictures here, the picture to the left is kind of the escape room as it was being renovated. You can still kind of see like on the walls here where they were going to be touching up some of the paints. And then the picture to the right of that, you can see a little bit of the updated lighting. There's the chandelier there that is, I believe all of it's now wired and it's not just...
Yeah, literally now it's one button and Witch Hunt is on. The game is 100% fully just plug it in and go. You're set.
I believe the other complaint was that they had a hard time reading some of the scriptures and the stuff on the walls.
Yeah, so we're still providing a lantern as an alternative light source just for people who really are strained for their vision.
Sure.
I always take advantage of the fact that I have perfect vision.
Lucky you.
But like even, my wife Jess is blind as a bat. So, we've gone extra measures now to improve the lighting without compromising ambiance.
I'm going to upload this other picture here because this is another thing too with the stuff that was kind of hard to read on the walls. You guys have went ahead
Fixing the lighting without compromising ambiance.
100% the UV paint, which I think that looks amazing. Shout out to Christina for having a steady hand, being able to paint over the old designs on there and really just making the room look more creepy as well as just like immersive. This looks absolutely fantastic. I've been at this company for a little over 6 months now and I still haven't tried Witch Hunt, and I think I'm the most excited now, more excited now than I've ever been to actually go and check it out.
Witch Hunt, Old Faithful, still performing since the 1600s.
We might have news about how long Witch Hunt's going to be hanging around come our video this upcoming Monday on the 27th.
Oh, New Year's resolutions?
That's our next announcement. I'm going to be making this announcement every week, which means this is the last week I'll be making this announcement. This Monday, not today, but 7 days from today, on January 27th at 8 p.m., you're going to see myself and Tone have a nice little 2-hour video, roundabout 2-hour video special where we go through our New Year's resolutions. What have we done at Trapdoor? What have we done? And then we're going to talk about...
What have we done in 19? What are we doing in 20? You're going to get a special peek. You're going to get a special sneak peek walkthrough inside a Freak Show. We'll be announcing officially what is going on with Red Bank as far as Boogeyman's replacement.
Oh, I'm excited for this one. I know more than you guys, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, we're actually going to be doing a poll for the title of the new game, too.
Oh, really? That's what we're going to do? Oh, ooh. Maybe if you tune in this Monday at 8 p.m. for the New Year's resolution special, you might have a chance to help us name our brand new game.
Yeah,
whatever
next
that game's
Monday,
gonna be.
next week. Not tonight, next week.
January 27th at 8 p.m. And with that, that's all the time we have for today. I've got a game that I've got to go run, and Tone has businessman things to do. But we've been The Monday Show. You've been beautiful. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.